Big names, fancy restaurants, exquisite food presentation. But what is really behind these doors? I tried all Michelin star restaurants in London, and I guess most of you agree, that is not a casual experience. So I thought, why not to show what to expect in the restaurants with the highest ratings in the heart of the UK capital? I'm sure there is a lot of going on behind the scenes, but today, let's see the experience from the customer and, in my case, the chef point of view and what the 3 Michelin star restaurants really reflect. 2020, a break in the pandemic lockdown when the restaurants were open. To begin with, let's look inside Sketch, lecture room and library. This was the first 3-star restaurant experience for me ever, so even more exciting. Lecture room and library is located on the first floor. Walking upstairs, you start getting an idea that something different is about to happen, your mind getting intrigued. Once you open the door, you enter the high ceiling room with a cute dome above your head. The noise coming from downstairs is suddenly gone and you settle in your chair. We had a vegetarian tasting menu and you definitely won't feel hungry when leaving this place. What actually blew my mind was the dessert table, because again, it was really generous. Final moment, payment for all this beautiful experience. I was debating if I include this part or not, but the bathroom looks unique as well, all dark and shiny. Definitely makes you wanna take a phone out and take a photo. Another day, another location. Today we are heading to luxury 5-star hotel, the Dorchester, located on the Park Lane and Deanery Street in London. This is one of the world's most prestigious and expensive hotels. It was a bit chilled September day for me, so of course I was looking forward to sitting down and having something warm. But before we even go to our table, look at this floral art. According to the staff working there, these roses are special kind called Dorchester roses. Such a gorgeous presentation. It definitely sends you to the right mood. Since we are big fans of German wine, we begin our evening with the first glass of the Riesling. I really like the bread presentation and, as always, the detailed explanation what we are about to eat. Meal after meal, and we're reaching the point where starters, mains are done and we're being served with some slices of cheese. If I had to describe this restaurant in a few words, I would say luxurious, modern and stylish place with an impeccable service. Desserts really touch my heart. Since I'm a pastry chef, I can tell how much attention and different elements go into each dessert. Pure art. Just before leaving, we are handed a little gift, a box of chocolate, designed and created by pastry team. One more time admiring the surroundings, taking the last pictures and heading home to digest this unique experience. I guess I don't need to present in much detail the owner of this restaurant, Gordon Ramsay.
This part of the knife on there and literally hand on there.
The flagship restaurant Gordon Ramsay in Chelsea gained the ultimate accolade of 3 Michelin stars in 2001 and has retained that ever since. We had to move our booking reservation a couple of times because of COVID.
Hello.
But we finally managed to get here and see with our own eyes the level of such a famous persona. This time we are having lunch, so it was a bit noisier experience than before. People were having a chat, some people were celebrating something. Overall, you could have disappeared in the crowd. What I really liked was the seasonally designed menu, which involved a lot of greens. Given it was May, they used a lot of different kind of leeks, such as nasturtiums, pea shoots, dills. They also incorporated flowers like garlic blossoms or elderflowers. In general, I think we got what we expected. Delicious and beautifully done food with an amazing front of house team. However, personally I prefer the evening service, where I feel more chilled as I don't need to come back to work. What impressed me the most, I think, was the most spring-inspired menu I have ever tasted. Every dish reflected seasonality. Not too far from Hyde Park, we're heading to Notting Hill. Oh my god, behind me is a Notting Hill gem, Clare restaurant, and today finally we're going to have a dinner there. Plus, it's my 30th birthday, so excited. Oh my god, I have such high expectations. Clare is a debut restaurant of Clare Smyth. I cannot stress enough how much I love their forest and earthy element from the beginning till the end. The little flower on your white gloves started disappearing on the display. Every meal had something green. What I really loved about Clare restaurant was a smart, elegant design where you don't find the traditional white long tablecloth, and the dining room is so light and bright. The layout of the floor is also different. Customer can see the kitchen, and guess what? We even said hello to Clare Smyth. She was greeting everyone and smiling, made us feel like she just invited us to her house where she will look after us as friends.
Growing up in Northern Ireland, chef knows the potato very well.
I truly connected with the menu as it expressed a strong emphasis on natural, sustainable food, sourced from the UK's most dedicated farmers and food producers. Thank you so much. Helene Harroze is the only woman in Mayfair to have ever received 3 Michelin stars. However, it represents not a sudden success, but rather long and continuous perfectionism in the kitchen. Finally, sunny day, and today we're gonna finish the circle of 3 Michelin star dining experience here at Connaught Hotel. I really loved light pastel colors in the restaurant, and since it's a middle of week, lunchtime, it is not overly crowded. As always, having vegetarian tasting menu, which was launched just a few weeks ago. In this restaurant, I discovered my favorite wine ever. Let me know in the comments down below if you also connect with German wine too. Menu itself reflects autumn, as there are a lot of autumn vegetables, and in my personal opinion, I think it's fun to do tasting menus, so you get to taste a bit of everything. We even had a pastry chef come into our table and giving the final touch for the pastry. That kind of gave me a closer connection with the place and the restaurant. I went for a signature dessert, baba with raspberries and chantilly, soaked in Armagnac, and Alejandro chose a chocolate dessert with cumin ice cream. Let's see what he has to say.
Try crazy things in Southeast Asia. But this is a whole new thing, right? Ice cream is coming. This is just... It's a lot of weird things I tried today. But anyway, very nice restaurant, still.
Who doesn't like a little extra? Chefs at this restaurant are definitely brave with flavor combinations. Final touch. The least I expected was beetroots or bell peppers pâté de fruits. So we had 3 hours experience instead of 2, because we went downstairs to the kitchen where we met the head chef and we've seen a little bit behind the scenes. It was super interesting, and I think it gave an extra spice for our lunch. If you ask me if it's really worth the money, I would say, think about this. You don't only pay for the organic celery salad or a fancy explanation of the meal, you pay for the talent, endless hours of work in the kitchen, creating and testing the recipes, so you as a customer can come and say, wow, not sure how you put everything together, but that just blew my mind. I deeply admire chef's hard work and I treat it as a true art. So, how much do you value that?